Libra, do you know you possess a power that no other sign was chosen to carry? Not a skill, not a personality trait, but a sacred, unseen force stitched into your spirit before you even took your first breath. It's called the blue power, and it doesn't belong to the many. It was reserved for the soul God trusted most with balance, divine justice, and sacred stillness. It was hidden inside you. You were never made to fit in. You were made to level the scales of energy that others leave unbalanced. You were made to read what no one says, to feel what others bury, and to walk with elegance through storms that would destroy others. But what you carry isn't meant to just survive. It was meant to shift the atmosphere around you and awaken the divine in others too. This power isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with fire and thunder. It arrives in still moments, in quiet decisions, in the way you love when it's hard, in the way you forgive when it hurts, in the way you protect peace, even when no one protects you. But here's the truth, Libra. Your blue power only activates after pain. Not because suffering makes you worthy, but because only those who've tasted betrayal and kept their heart open can carry the kind of energy that heals others. Only those who've walked through rejection and still chosen softness. Only those who've been invisible and still chosen to shine. And that's why God chose you. Not because you were perfect, but because you were willing to stay soft in a world that told you to harden. This is why, Libra, you felt so misunderstood. This is why people are drawn to your energy, but rarely understand your depth. This is why the room feels heavy when you walk in. Not because of you, but because your frequency wakes up what others try to keep asleep. The truth is, this world is full of noise, but your power is in the quiet. And now, the quiet is calling you louder than ever before. Because something is shifting. A season is opening, and your blue power, the one God gave you for such a time as this, is starting to wake up. If lately you felt more emotional, more intuitive, more alert, if you've sensed people pulling away or coming closer with intensity, if your dreams have become clearer or your boundaries have gotten stronger, this is not confusion. This is the activation. The spirit realm is aligning, Libra. Heaven is whispering, it's time. Type this in the comments right now, my blue power is waking up. Not just as a phrase, but as a declaration. Let the universe know you remember who you are. Let the divine forces see that you are no longer asleep. And stay here with me, because what you're about to hear over the next few minutes will not only explain your pain, it will unlock the purpose that's been hiding underneath it. Don't scroll, don't pause, because from this moment forward, your life will not move the same. God has sent this message to wake up the Libra you forgot you were. And now, the blue power is rising. The moment you were marked. There is a moment in every Libra's life, quiet, private, sometimes too subtle to notice, when something shifts. It could have happened when you were a child, sitting by a window, staring out into the world with eyes far older than your years. Or maybe it was late at night, alone in your room, when everything felt still, and your chest suddenly felt full. Not full of fear, not full of excitement, but full of knowing. A soft pull, a silent echo, a strange, unexplainable sensation deep in your soul that whispered, you are not like them. You were born with something different. Libra, whether or not you remember that moment, it happened. And in that moment, you were marked. Marked not by men, not by systems, not by titles or fame. You were marked by heaven, an invisible stamp placed on your spirit by the hand of God himself. Not to make you famous, but to make you faithful to a higher calling. This mark, this divine signature, it holds what I call the blue power. A sacred energy, a spiritual current. It doesn't roar, it whispers. It doesn't demand attention, it commands alignment. This power has always been with you. You felt it, even if you didn't have a name for it. It's the moment you walk into a room and feel what no one is saying. It's the heaviness that falls on you when someone around you is suffering, even when they're smiling. It's the ache you feel when something unfair happens, even if it's not happening to you. Your blue power is what makes you speak for those who have no voice. It's why your spirit feels deeply unsettled when things are out of balance, not just socially but spiritually. And yet, because this power is quiet, because it lives in the stillness of your soul, most people didn't see it. They saw your kindness and thought you were weak. They saw your silence and assumed you were unsure. They saw your empathy and believed they could manipulate it. They thought your softness meant surrender. They thought your calm meant you didn't know your worth. They thought your need for peace meant you'd never stand up for yourself. But oh, how wrong they were. Because what they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly understand, was that your stillness wasn't weakness, it was power waiting for permission. You see, Libra, what's placed by God can never be destroyed by man. What's hidden by heaven can only be unlocked through divine timing. And you were never late, you were just in hiding. The world wasn't ready, but more importantly, you weren't ready to hold it yet. This blue power was planted in you like a seed, and just like a seed, it needed darkness. It needed pressure. It needed to be buried deep so that your roots would grow before your branches ever touched the sky. That's why you had to go through seasons where no one saw you. That's why people walked away, not because you were unworthy, but because your light started to rise and they couldn't handle the reflection. That's why betrayal hurt so deeply, because your heart was always wired for truth, and when lies touched you, they shook your entire being. But Libra, this mark you carry, this spiritual frequency, it's not just meant to help you survive the world, it's meant to change the world. This is why you've never quite fit in, because you weren't sent to blend in, you were sent to realign what has been out of order. You are the silent recalibration of divine justice. You are the mirror that makes others see themselves clearly. You are the balance in a world tilted by ego, fear, and control. And this power, this blue power, it's not always pretty. It's not always comfortable. It doesn't always come with applause. In fact, most times it comes with loneliness, with sacrifice, with the burden of seeing too much and speaking too little. But Libra, never mistake your burden for a curse. It is a calling, a divine assignment. And the moment you were marked, even if you didn't know it, the heavens took note, the angels were told to protect you. Your path was written with purpose, and every trial, every heartbreak, every delay was a part of shaping your soul to carry this gift. Because God will never give power without preparing the heart that carries it. And Libra, your preparation has been long, painful, quiet, but necessary. Now, the time of silence is ending. Now, the blue power is no longer just a seed, it's starting to bloom. And everything that once made you question yourself will now become the very thing that sets you apart. Because from the moment you were marked, you were never meant to be normal. You were always meant to be divine. What is the blue power? So what exactly is this mysterious force we call the blue power? It's not a title. It's not a personality. It's not a talent you develop. It's a divine frequency woven directly into the soul of a Libra who was chosen, not by chance, but by cosmic intention. The blue power is the energy of sacred balance. It is the force that knows how to find peace in the middle of storms. It is the silent recalibration of truth, the quiet strength that realigns everything back into divine order, even when the world is spinning out of control. Unlike other energies that rise through dominance or noise, this one arrives with grace. It flows in slowly. It moves through broken spaces and gently rebuilds what has fallen out of place. It heals without shouting. It corrects without punishment. It leads without needing the spotlight. This power doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention. Instead, it shifts everything it touches, quietly, precisely, and completely. Libra, this is why you've often been misunderstood. People see your calm and think you don't care. They hear your silence and assume you have no opinion. They mistake your gentleness for passivity. But that's because they don't understand the nature of real divine power. Your blue power isn't here to destroy. It's here to restore. It's the way you can see through a smile that's hiding sadness. The way you can feel tension in a room before a word is spoken. The way you're drawn to bring peace to people who don't even realize they're falling apart. Blue power is when you listen and someone finally feels heard. It's when your presence alone brings calm into chaos. It's when you know something is wrong, not because you saw it, but because you sensed it. This power lives in you, not to protect yourself, but to help others return to their highest self. It's the sacred ability to stand in two worlds at once. In the material world, where you're grounded and wise, and in the spiritual world, where you hear what is not said, see what is not visible, and feel what most are numb to. Blue power is your bridge between the heavens and the earth. It is why you feel torn between wanting to help and needing to protect your peace. It's why your heart often feels full and heavy at the same time. Because you're not just absorbing life, you're carrying spiritual responsibility. This power doesn't come to the untested. It comes to the ones who have cried in silence. It comes to those who have been forgotten, underestimated, betrayed, yet still chose to love. You see, God placed this power in you with intention. Blue is not just a color, it's a symbol. It represents divine wisdom, the kind that comes from experience, not from books. It is the color of the sky, endless, deep, full of vision. It is the color of the ocean, still on the surface, yet vast and powerful below. Blue power is celestial truth that lives in silence. It's the ability to hold opposites in harmony, to bring order where there's disorder, to restore dignity where there's shame, to rebuild hope where everything seems lost. And God hid it inside of you like a precious gem. He didn't place it where others could find it easily. He buried it beneath heartbreak, beneath years of being overlooked, beneath the heavy pressure of always being the one who tries to keep everything together. He didn't hide it to punish you. He hid it to protect you. Because what is sacred must be shielded until it is ready. And Libra, you are just now stepping into readiness. You see, you were never empty. You were never powerless. You were never behind. You were being prepared. God was shaping your heart to be strong enough to carry what others could not. And now, the layers of pain, the weight of silence, the ache of being misunderstood, all of it is falling away to reveal what's always been within you. And the world, the very people who doubted you, the ones who used your kindness, the ones who couldn't see your worth, they will soon witness the rise of something they never expected. Not a new version of you, but the real you. The one who always held the power, even when you didn't know it. Because Libra, nothing God hides stays buried forever. And this power, this sacred blue power, is not just waking up, it is ready to be used. And the moment you embrace it, not with fear but with faith, you will begin to see just how much your presence was always meant to shift the world. Why it was hidden for so long. Libra, you may have asked yourself with tears in your eyes, with a weary heart, or in the middle of the night, why would God give me something so special and then make me forget it? Why would He place such a deep, sacred power in me and let me go through so much pain before I ever discovered it? It's a question that only those who've carried hidden greatness can understand. And the answer is both simple and divine. Because, Libra, power that is revealed too early either gets misused or stolen. When a soul is not mature enough to carry its purpose, that purpose becomes a burden instead of a blessing. When divine energy is given to someone who hasn't yet suffered, it risks turning into ego, pride, or even destruction. You were never denied your gift. You were simply delayed, so your soul could be made strong enough to carry the weight of it. Every heartbreak you faced, every betrayal you didn't deserve, every time someone left without explanation, every moment you doubted your worth, looked in the mirror and asked, "What's wrong with me?" It wasn't because something was wrong with you. It was because something very holy was being formed inside you. You were not broken. You were being built. Built to carry something that cannot be shaken. Built to survive what others fall apart in. Built to hold a kind of stillness that only comes after you've walked through the loudest storms and chose not to become bitter. Let me paint it this way. A tree doesn't grow roots under bright lights. It grows them in the dark soil deep below the surface where no one sees. And just like that tree, your blue power was planted in darkness, not as punishment, but as preparation. You had to learn patience. You had to learn surrender. You had to feel what it meant to be unseen, so that when your time came to shine, you would never forget your depth. Because what grows in darkness becomes unshakable in the light. You see, Libra, the world tried to label you. Too emotional, too quiet, too forgiving, too soft, too sensitive. But heaven never called you too much. Heaven called you chosen. And God knew, if He revealed your full light before you understood how to hold it, the wrong people would have used it, drained it, mocked it, abused it. He didn't want your gift to become your wound. He wanted it to become your weapon. But first, you had to bleed. You had to sit in silence and feel forgotten. You had to walk away from people who never really saw you. You had to be disappointed, not once, not twice, but over and over again, until your spirit understood that your worth never came from them. Until your identity was no longer tied to who clapped for you, but to who created you. Your silence was not a void. It was sacred training. It was the space where your character was being shaped to hold divine responsibility. This is why it was hidden, Libra, because what is sacred must be sealed until it's safe. And now, for the first time, the seal is breaking. The energy within you is beginning to rise, not in rage, not in revenge, but in holy alignment. You didn't lose your light in the darkness. You learned how to protect it. You didn't stop shining. You just stopped casting your glow where it wasn't respected. And now, Libra, you're finally stepping into the moment God had in mind all along. The moment when what was hidden becomes revealed. The moment when what felt like pain becomes power. The moment when everything they used to tear you down becomes the exact thing that lifts you higher. You were never forgotten. You were never cursed. You were never broken. You were simply being prepared to carry what others cannot. And now that the time has come, your blue power is no longer a buried gem. It is a glowing force, ready to be used. The signs your blue power is waking up. Right now, Libra, you might be experiencing things that feel different, unexplainable, even strange, things that don't seem to make sense on the surface. But if you slow down and look with your soul, not just your eyes, you'll begin to understand. Your blue power is waking up. Maybe you've been walking through your day, and out of nowhere, you get a sudden chill. Not because of the temperature, not because of fear, but because something deep within you is stirring. Maybe you felt the sudden urge to speak up, even in places where you were once silent. You're no longer willing to stay quiet when truth needs a voice. Your heart starts racing, your palms feel warm, and something inside you pushes you to finally say, no more pretending. Or maybe you've had moments of clarity, like spiritual lightning, sudden downloads of knowing. You're walking or resting or simply thinking, and out of nowhere, truth drops into your mind so clearly that it shakes you. You just know something is about to happen. You feel people's energy more strongly than ever. You sense when someone is lying, even if their words sound perfect. You feel when someone's spirit is broken, even if their smile looks bright. These are not hallucinations. These are not random. These are not overreactions. These are signs, sacred signs, from above and within, that the blue power God planted in you is no longer sleeping. It's rising. You may also start noticing other changes. People around you begin to act different. Not because you've changed who you are, but because your energy has started to glow brighter. Some people will be uncomfortable in your presence, not because you've harmed them, but because your very presence begins to expose what they've been hiding. Your soul carries truth, and truth makes those with hidden motives feel unsafe. Old connections may fall away suddenly. Friends you thought would always be there may grow distant, not because of hate, but because your vibration is no longer matching theirs. What used to feel familiar may now feel draining. What used to entertain you now feels empty. This isn't rejection, this is realignment. People can only stay in your life if their spirit can breathe at your new altitude. You're not better than anyone, but your soul is rising, and not everyone is meant to rise with you. You may also notice a new kind of magnetism around you, strangers noticing you more, people seeking your advice even when you don't offer it, Someone staring at you as if they recognize something they can't explain. That's not your imagination. That's your spiritual aura expanding. Your energy is beginning to announce itself in unseen ways. You're becoming more you. The more you walk in truth, the more you release fear, the more you embrace the soft but strong nature of your soul, the more your blue power begins to shine outward. And Libra, not everyone will celebrate this version of you. Some will walk away, some will feel threatened, some will say you've changed. And the truth is, you have. You've changed in the best way. You're no longer hiding. You're no longer dimming your light for the comfort of others. You're no longer lowering your standards or bending your spirit to keep the peace. Because the truth is, peace built on your silence is not peace. It's prison. And your soul is choosing freedom now. So if the people around you don't understand you anymore, if your emotions are louder, if your spirit feels more alive than ever before, if your dreams are more vivid, if your boundaries are getting stronger, you are not broken. You are not alone. You are not crazy. You are waking up. You are finally becoming what heaven intended from the start. A soul in alignment with what it was created to carry. And let me say this clearly, Libra, this is not the time to shrink. This is not the time to question yourself. This is not the time to apologize for your light. This is the time to stand in it. You have earned this awakening. You have walked through fire to carry this peace. You have cried in silence so others could smile loudly. Now, your time is here. Your soul is shining in ways it never has before. And your blue power, the power God hid in you since before time, is no longer waiting. It's no longer dormant. It's ready. How to use your blue power now. Now that your blue power is waking up, Libra, you may be asking quietly in your spirit, what do I do with this now? How do I walk with something so sacred without messing it up? Let me reassure you, you don't need to force anything. This power was never about performance. It was never about making others believe you're powerful. It was never about titles, applause, or being the loudest voice in the room. Your blue power does not come alive through noise. It comes alive through alignment. This is not about trying harder. It's about positioning yourself differently. It's about making small, intentional shifts in how you speak, how you move, and how you protect your energy. Let's start with the most powerful one. 1. Speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. Libra, you've been quiet for too long. Not because you didn't have truth, but because you wanted to keep the peace. You let others talk over your soul. You let people misunderstand you and stayed silent to avoid conflict. But now, your blue power is asking to be heard. You don't need to yell. You don't need to argue. You just need to speak from your center. When something doesn't feel right, say it. When something inspires you, share it. When your spirit senses imbalance, honor it with words. Even if your hands shake. Even if your voice trembles. Even if no one else agrees. Your blue power strengthens every time you tell the truth with love. Not the truth that destroys, but the truth that brings light. Even when it's uncomfortable. When you speak from that quiet place inside you, heaven listens. And the earth begins to shift around your words. 2. Create sacred boundaries. You can no longer allow everyone to have access to your energy. Your soul is becoming clearer. Your power is becoming stronger. And that means your space must now become sacred. Not everyone who wants your time deserves it. Not everyone who calls themselves friend is meant to sit at your table. You are not being rude. You are being wise. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates to protect what's growing within you. So don't be afraid to say, no, I can't today. No, this no longer feels good to me. No, I love you, but I need space. Your blue power doesn't grow in places that drain you. It grows in places that protect you. 3. Be the mirror that reflects truth without judgment. One of the most unique parts of your blue power is this. You carry a mirror in your presence. When people are around you, they begin to see themselves more clearly. Your calm energy, your gentle truth, your balanced spirit. It exposes what is fake. It highlights what is hiding. It draws truth to the surface. You don't even need to say much. Your presence does the work. But here's the key. Let people see their truth without shaming them. You are not here to judge, you are here to reveal. Let your light speak louder than your opinions. When someone is angry, stay centered. When someone is lost, stay rooted. When someone is dishonest, don't match their energy. Just let them see themselves in your peace. Your blue power is not about control. It's about being so deeply aligned with truth that the world cannot help but shift around you. 4. Spend time in silence and prayer. This is how your blue power charges. Not in crowds, not in busy schedules, but in the stillness. In the quiet moments where you sit with your soul. In the times when you turn off the noise and just breathe with God. Prayer is your fuel. Stillness is your strength. Silence is where your power grows its roots. You don't need to say fancy words. You don't need to perform. Just sit, just be, just listen. The more you center yourself in the sacred, the stronger your energy becomes in the world. You'll walk into rooms and shift them without effort. You'll speak less and impact more. You'll begin to feel when to speak, when to move, and when to wait, with divine timing. Libra, your soul was never meant to live in constant noise. Your blue power is whispered to you in quiet places. Protect those places. Return to them often. 5. Protect your peace like a temple. You are no longer here to absorb everyone's chaos. You are not the emotional dumping ground for broken people. You are not the therapist for those who refuse to heal. You are here to transmute energy, not carry what doesn't belong to you. If someone brings drama, step away. If a situation drains you, let it go. If your peace is constantly being disturbed, change the environment or leave it completely. This isn't selfish. This is spiritual responsibility. Your peace is your compass. If something costs you your inner balance, it's too expensive. And your blue power cannot grow in places where your soul is under attack. Treat your energy like a holy place, because it is. Let your peace speak louder than your anger. Let your stillness be louder than their noise. Let your detachment be your answer to what no longer aligns. And remember, you don't have to explain your peace to anyone. Libra, you don't need to try harder. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to stand in alignment with who you've always been. That's how your blue power flows. That's how it grows, and that's how it changes the world around you, one sacred choice at a time. What God is trusting you with, Libra. This power inside of you, this blue power God placed within your spirit, it wasn't given just so you could survive life. It was given so you could lead others through it. You are not here just to float through your days quietly. You were not created just to be nice or balanced or peaceful. You were created to be an anchor, a voice, a mirror, a light. When the world loses direction, you carry the compass. When hearts go numb, you carry the empathy that wakes them. When lies become loud, you carry the truth that doesn't need shouting, it simply stands. Your words, even when whispered, you carry weight. Your silence, even when misunderstood, carries wisdom. And your heart carries the blueprint of divine justice. You see things others miss. You feel energy before it enters the room. You notice imbalances before they become chaos. And God knows that. That's why He chose you. Not the strongest in appearance, not the loudest in the crowd, but the one who has walked through pain and didn't let it harden your soul. Because God cannot use the proud to restore what is broken. He can only use the humble. The ones who listen deeply, the ones who bend without breaking, the ones who carry truth with gentleness, not ego. You, Libra, are being positioned now to restore what generations before you could not. Your family may have carried cycles of silence, trauma, or disconnection. Your bloodline may have been stained by betrayal, emotional wounds, or spiritual neglect. But you carry the light that breaks those patterns. You carry the balance that brings peace to generations who never knew how to create it. This is why your life has been hard. This is why your identity has been attacked since you were young. This is why you've been misunderstood, overlooked, and sometimes even rejected by those closest to you. Because darkness always attacks what heaven intends to raise. The enemy didn't fight you so hard because you were weak. He fought you because he saw what you hadn't yet awakened in yourself. He saw the quiet authority. He saw the future healing your words would release. He saw the people you would set free just by walking in your truth. And he knew that if you ever discovered what God hid inside of you, you would become unstoppable. Not in a loud, dramatic way, but in the most powerful way possible. Through love, through truth, through sacred alignment with who you were always meant to be. You are not just a peacekeeper, you are a spiritual gatekeeper, a guardian of energy, a carrier of justice, a vessel of divine calm. You are the one who sees when something's off, and instead of ignoring it, you realign it with grace, not with control but with presence. And now, Libra, heaven is trusting you to speak up when silence is no longer sacred, trusting you to walk away from what dims your light, trusting you to protect your peace without guilt, trusting you to carry truth without cruelty, trusting you to rise. Because when you rise, the world around you shifts. You were not sent here to be liked, you were sent here to be light. You were not sent to fit in, you were chosen to break old patterns and rebuild spiritual foundations. And now, the time has come. This blue power is no longer sleeping. The world needs your eyes, it needs your voice, it needs your ability to see in both the spiritual and natural realm. It needs your steady energy, your unwavering presence, your deep inner truth. God is trusting you, not because you're perfect, but because you're willing. He's not asking you to be ready, he's asking you to say yes. Yes to becoming who you already are. Yes to letting go of the weight that no longer belongs to you. Yes to walking in the quiet confidence of your divine assignment. Libra, you are not just waking up, you are being called. And heaven has full confidence in you. Libra, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes if you need to, and go back. Back to a time when someone was in pain, and they didn't even have to say a word. But somehow, you knew. You felt it. You walked over, you asked if they were okay, you sat quietly beside them, and in that moment, even without saying much, they felt lighter. That was not kindness alone. That was blue power in motion. Think back to that one conversation. Maybe you didn't think much of it at the time, but your words, your insight, your calm truth, your gentle tone shifted something deep inside that person. They left different than they came. They made a decision. They found peace. They turned their life around. That wasn't just you being helpful. That was your divine gift working through you even when you weren't fully aware of it. And what about the times when everything around you was chaotic? Family arguments, emotional outbursts, workplace tension. And yet, your presence somehow brought calm to the storm? Not because you forced it, not because you had all the answers, but because you showed up with a frequency that made everyone feel safer. That stillness you carry, that grace, that natural ability to ease tension and bring harmony, it's never been accidental. That's your blue power, God flowing through you quietly, peacefully, like still water entering a burning room. You've always had it, but now it's time to stop using it by accident and start using it on purpose. No more shrinking, no more apologizing for your sensitivity, no more holding your tongue when truth needs to be spoken. No more hiding your light to keep others comfortable. It's time to live with full awareness of who you are and what you carry. Because when your blue power is awakened and directed with intention, it becomes a divine tool in the hands of heaven. It becomes more than a soft energy. It becomes a force of alignment. You were made for spiritual diplomacy, to enter heavy spaces and make them feel lighter. To speak truth without causing war, to protect peace without sacrificing your voice, to mirror truth without judgment, and to guide others toward clarity, not by control, but by presence. Libra, your blue power is a gift this world deeply needs, and it's been needed in more places than you realize. In families where pain is passed down silently from generation to generation, you are the one called to break the cycle by choosing grace over resentment and truth over tradition. In relationships where misunderstandings linger for years, you are the one called to bring clarity, not confusion, balance, not blame. In friendships that have turned toxic or one-sided, you are the one who must gently walk away, not from hate, but from misalignment. Teaching others what it looks like to love yourself with dignity. In your work, your calling, your influence, you are not here to simply do a job. You are here to embody peace, to offer perspective, to carry sacred solutions in a world flooded with noise. This is not about being perfect. It's about being present. Present with your energy. Present with your boundaries. Present with your purpose. Because the moment you move with full awareness, the moment you begin speaking, walking, and showing up with your blue power intentionally, everything begins to change. You'll start noticing your presence has more impact. People will feel different after spending time with you. You'll say less, but it will mean more. You'll be asked to show up in rooms where healing is needed. Not because of a title, but because of your energy. You'll be drawn toward those who are ready for truth, and guided away from those who are not. And with time, Libra, you'll begin to see your life as a living prayer. A sacred offering to the world. Every word you speak, every boundary you set, every moment you choose peace instead of people-pleasing. It all becomes part of your spiritual assignment. And here's the part you must remember. You don't need to convince anyone of your power. You don't need to beg for recognition. You don't need to force anyone to understand. The right people will feel it. They will recognize your light. Because when your blue power is in motion, it doesn't need an introduction. It announces itself. The way you walk into a room will shift the room. The way you hold space for others will heal what words cannot. The way you respond, not react. The way you love deeply without condition. The way you stay grounded while the world spins. That is your real gift. That is your sacred influence. That is your divine identity, not created by the world but chosen by heaven. So Libra, no more waiting, no more overthinking, no more wondering if you're worthy. You've already been chosen, and the world has already been waiting. Waiting for your yes. Waiting for you to say, I'm ready to walk in my purpose. I'm ready to carry what I was born to carry. I'm ready to lead with my blue power, not just quietly, but confidently. Because this isn't just about you. This is about what God can do through you. And when you finally move in alignment with that truth, the world around you will never be the same. Libra, you've been walking with a crown you couldn't see, carrying a light you almost forgot was yours. But today, you remembered. Not just who you are, but what you carry. That soft voice inside you, that's not weakness. That's the echo of heaven. That's your blue power. So move with it, speak from it, let it guide you, let it protect you. Because what God placed in you was never random. And now that it's awake, there's no going back. Comment below if this message touched your spirit. My power is awake. Let the world know. Let heaven see you rise. If this spoke to your soul, stay connected to this channel. We're just getting started, and your power is only beginning to bloom. Subscribe for more spiritual insight, divine timing, and soul-deep guidance every week. Your time is now, Libra, and your blue power is ready.